One of the things that a large business will do is go to the government and they will be on top of regulation. And they will say, look, we know that there have been murmurs and there's some problems and all you politicians have been looking at our business and the way we've been running and okay, well, like we'll admit that there are some things that we should examine. Why don't we get on top of that right away? We'll look into that with you and we'll participate and let's see if we can hammer out some regulations. And what they do is they hire professional, what the heck is the term? It's a problem in the United States. You have professional petitioners. Their job is to understand the mechanics of the legal framework and the communications framework for politicians, and they will push for regulations. They will, they'll pretend to be the audience and stuff like that, and they'll push for this stuff. And you might think from the outside, wow, this big business, they're really, I mean, they're on top of things. They care about, they want to protect the children and all this kind of stuff. And that's not necessarily true. I'm not going to say it's not actually true. It's not necessarily true that big business cares. But what they're doing, what they're accomplishing is they're ahead of all their competition with understanding how these regulations will play out. And they will even be first to know about the things when they hit. And there will be competition that don't even know about the regulations when they're out. And the little competition will just get fined with these legal changes. They're like, well, your carbon tax and the big businesses was right on top of that right from the very beginning. They planned for this, and the little business didn't even know. And so it hammers them. And what happens is, because it's like insider trading, when the large business gets regulations and knows about it very intimately because they had a hand in crafting it, because they were part of the little community of large businesses, that the cabal. And so it might cost them money, for example, to deal with the regulations that they had a hand in creating. And they'll use a lot of this as, say, publicity to say, oh, Facebook really cares about children. That's why they're encouraging. That's why they have mandatory pseudonymizing, paper checking to get and there's another class of checkmark for, pseudonymous, semi-authorized person, and they're registered with their government or something like that. Certain governments are participating in like ear tagging citizens to give them a digital fingerprint for using Twitter, like some weird thing. And Facebook will be like, yeah, well, we're thinking of the children. And and they might be, and everybody will see them as that, and that will be the excuse, and that's what the regulations will. And what that kind of stuff does is some competition that comes around won't have the resources because they're not as big as something like Twitter or Facebook or whatever the heck. And the government goes, regulations are regulations. You're not meeting regulations, shut down. And that's the mechanism by which a large business can attack a competitor and just crush them. And so by being small, you won't know about all the mechanics as they're happening. You won't have any input. You won't be able to prepare ahead of time. The big business will have the insider trading on that. They'll be able to plan ahead of time, save up the money, for example, or bribe the officials ahead of time. Whatever nefarious stuff happens, they'll have all the infrastructure in place to deal with things, and they'll know when it comes out. And the small guy won't know anything at any point. They'll just be blindsided.